Hello and welcome to this how-to for the Quadzilla-RAM 250e made by SMC. Okay, so this is just a quick how-to check the timing, the cam timing. Now sometimes if the cam chain is worn too much, it can slip a tooth or two. So if your Quadzilla is running, but running very roughly, and you've cleaned out the carbs and you've done changed the spark plug and things like that, this could be the next check. Okay, so this can be done with the engine in the frame. You need to remove the fuel tank and the seat. Okay, and then also the spark plug cover here and the rocker cover here. Okay, so they're done with your 6mm Allen key or your hex bit. I've already loosened them off just to save time on the video. Okay, so you undo these. Oh, before I forget as well, actually, it makes it easier if you actually unscrew the throttle controls from the carburetors. Okay, so you do that by unscrewing these bits here and then pull them from the carburetor. I normally label them right and left so they go back in the right ones, and it's a good practice as well to put them in a bag to stop them getting scratched and the needles getting bent and stuff, and pop them right out the way. Okay, you can leave the choke cables in situ and I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so we've got the spark plug cover off there, got the special bolts that I've taken off there. Okay, now for the spark plug, to remove the spark plug, you're going to need a 16mm socket, long reach socket, specifically for spark plugs. Okay, you don't want to damage a spark plug because it's a pain to sort out otherwise. Okay, so that's all off. Okay, and then the cover should come off. It's a little bit fiddly, but it should come off like that. Now we're left with the all the cam chain mechanism and the valves. A little bit of quick terminology. Your camshaft is there. This is number 1 cylinder on the left hand side. Before we go any further, we also need to take these covers off. They're just done with a screwdriver. So that's your main flywheel bolt, and this one here is your time and view mark cover. Okay, so that'll be ready to go. A little bit of terminology. This part here is called your inlet valve of number 1 cylinder, and that one there is your exhaust valve of number 1 cylinder. They're mirrored on the number 2 cylinder, so you have the inlet valve there and the exhaust valve there. All the timing is done using number 1 cylinder. Okay, so this is to check the timing if you think it's there or thereabouts. Okay, so you get a 14mm socket, put it through into this connection here, and we turn it clockwise, rotate clockwise. And what we're doing now is we're trying to get the right phase of the engine cycle. So this is a 4-stroke cycle. It goes induction, compression, power, exhaust. And what we're looking for is for the inlet valve to start operating. So it should start pushing down. There we go. So the inlet valve is operating now. It's pushing down. So that means we're on the induction phase. So the piston's going down and it's drawing the fuel and air through the inlet valve into the cylinder. So that's the induction. Okay, the next phase, when that stops, that's just stopped going down now. So the piston's beginning to come back up, and this is the compression stage. So this is when it compresses all the fuel air mixture. So we're going back up there. Now this is the important part. So this means that we're on the compression stage of number 1 cylinder. We need to look in here, and on this Quadzilla there is actually a mark that's painted, and hopefully I'll zoom in a minute. Okay, and if you can't see that, there's a little notch at the top. Okay, we're nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. There we go. So that's just in there now. Okay, and right, so what we now know is that the flywheel generator is in the right place, so it should have generated the spark just before then. the piston now should be at what we call top dead center. So if you take a torch and shine it down through the spark plug hole, you should see the top of the piston. Another way you can do it if you're very careful is you can put a screwdriver or pencil down and you can feel it there if you can't see it. But be very careful, you don't want to drop anything into the cylinder. What we're going to do now is check that the timing is correct. And the way that we do this is around the other side on the camshaft, there is a notch. Okay, so let's go and have a look. Again, this is for if the timing is correct. Okay, so right, so you should see now the left hand side of the camshaft, and what we're looking for is this notch here. Okay, so there's a notch, and what that needs to be is pointing to the back of the engine like that, and it needs to be parallel to the casting of the cylinder head. Okay, so in this particular case the timing is correct. Now if you were starting from scratch and you had to put a new timing belt on, you'd set the camshaft manually to this position and the crankshaft to the position shown using the flywheel, and then you would connect the chain.